All right, we have been
Nice.
recording. All right, so it's been 4 weeks since our last episode. This is episode 2 of we're going to call it a 4-part series. I think we're going to end it on episode 4. This is the last 16, 15, whatever weeks of a competition started by the other person on the call, Jon Farness. He started a podcast called Investment Competition Podcast Trial by Fire, brought a bunch of us together to discuss, learn, and try and play around in the stock market to see what would happen. That got abruptly canceled around week 35 due to unforeseen circumstances. Obviously, the workload is what we all blame it on because Jon couldn't do it all. So we decided to continue this podcast, and this is episode 2. It's been 4 weeks since we've seen each other. I'd like to stress that this is not the Investment Competition Podcast Trial by Fire, but a continuation of that podcast competition. Does anybody have any words they'd like to say other than I know Jon really wants to say this is not investment advice? Anybody, go ahead.
Not
This is
financial
not
advice.
investment advice.
One at a time, ladies. One at a time.
Not financial advice.
Or
Not-
investment advice.
Or
Not
investment.
legal advice.
Yes.
It's for fun.
Cover all of our legal bases. We do not encourage alcoholism. If you have a problem, call somebody, get help, yada yada, all that fun stuff. All right, let's get started. Everyone all set to go?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
We are beginning with. Oh, come on. There we go. Jon with an overall portfolio of $4,378.27. And if you notice in the top right corner, in comparison to last week, he had a portfolio balance of $4,056.36. So he is up a little over $300, but it's been 4 weeks. So really, we added $400 into the mix in those 4 weeks because we add $100 each week into this competition and invested in the stock market. So Jon had put $400 into this, and he's only up $300. So he's got some losses that came through this week. Looking at his 4 picks for this week, and I will let Jon take it away.
Okay. Yeah. No, this is gonna be a lot of fun. So earlier in the original competition podcast, I decided to invest in a company called Johnson & Johnson because Johnson & Johnson is known as one of the most trusted brands in America. Except I didn't do my due diligence enough. And I didn't know that Johnson & Johnson sold off their consumer good products lines like a year or two before I entered them into the competition. And so I was just investing in Johnson & Johnson, the pharmaceutical company. I made the same mistake twice. I invested in Honeywell. Honeywell does a lot of industrial goods and does some automation stuff. I kept hinting that I was waiting for a price drop to invest in the best quantum computing stock there is. And Honeywell was the best quantum computing stock there was. They had every stage of quantum computing, from designing the chips to manufacturing the chips to selling the quantum computers and the quantum computing chips to selling quantum computing as a service. To any aspect, they had it. But as I was waiting to invest in Honeywell for weeks and weeks and weeks, they're like, oh, hey, I saw the price dip and I decided, all right, Honeywell is my pick this week. And then I looked into why their price dipped, and it's because they were selling off parts of their business, including their quantum computing part of their business. So their quantum computing part of their business is still a company. They still own, I don't know, 59% of that company or 64% of that company. But the company itself, it's quantum, but with 2 U's. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Quantum. I don't know. W Quantum. is a private company at this point. I can't invest only in that directly into that. The best I can do is continue to invest in Honeywell, which owns a 59% of that private company now. But it used to be under Honeywell's um, structure. They did sell off two other parts of their business. They're really focusing on, their aviations and aerospace, and their their industrial manufacturing. Next up, I chose Pakar. Pakar is another transportation stock, a little different. David chose, oh God, what did he choose? I don't know, something to do with the construction vehicle. No, he didn't choose Peterbilt. I don't remember. But Pakar owns the brands like Kensworth, which is a big semi truck brand. They own some other pretty notable. Semi truck brands. So a good transportation manufacturing company that isn't like a small time, retail automaker. It's a commercial automaker. Public storage. This is a fun one. I've been tracking this one for probably the entire duration of the stock competition podcast. I Public storage is a fantastic business. Like GFL, it is a recession-proof business. Not so much inflation-proof, but definitely a recession-proof business. Public storage is a REIT, and the entire competition, I was comparing it to a smaller public storage REIT called self storage. So you have public storage, which is known across America. They have big orange and purple logos, self storage, things like that. The other one I was looking at was the self storage, and they were just not growing as fast or as much or as consistently as public storage. So public storage has a pretty great business model. They're a REIT. I'm a sucker for a good old REIT. Um, and then you have Occidental Petroleum on here. Occidental Petroleum is super interesting because it gets into the energy sector. They do a lot of natural gas and petroleum drilling. And what's interesting about this is if you look at some super investors like Warren Buffett, who for the past year, actually I think the number for the past 13 out of 16 quarters, Warren Buffett can only be described as a net seller of stocks. He always sells more stocks than he buys. But in these past, 13 out of 16 quarters, there are a handful of stocks that he has continued to buy into. One of them is Domino's, as in Domino's Pizza, and the other one is this energy company, Occidental Petroleum. And then if any members of Congress happen to buy, sell, trade stocks, they also coincidentally seem to be stockpiling into shares of this energy company as well. So I don't know what they know, but I did see that this was nearing a 52-week low. So this is finally in my portfolio as well. I don't know if I'm just highlighting these four or if I'm talking about my overall portfolio as well. Jake, you're muted.
I was going to pull up your overall portfolio. I don't have it in the slides, but I can switch the screen over to that. Is that something you'd like?
I can just hit some quick highlights. So quick highlights. Ford, consistent as always in the red. What I wanted to highlight is Rick, which was my week 2 pick, is starting to go down in value. I'm still in the green right now, but that stripper index is holding true. There's signs and talk of, inflation, stagflation, and recession all at the same time right now. Rivian's big update is that exclusivity deal that they had with Amazon where they could only sell their electric utility van to Amazon has ended. So now you can buy a utility van, which is great for all tradesmen, from Rivian. So that's pretty good that they're opening up another SKU, another item that they can sell to directly to consumers and not only to Amazon. GFL, recession proof. NNN is going to bounce back here. Oshkosh is super volatile. Scholastic will never recover before podcast ends. What's the other one I wanted to hit here? Um, so one of my other covered call ETFs. Nusi has it was owned by Nationwide. Then this company Neos bought them. They've slowly been converting the company. They changed the name during the original podcast. They recently changed the stock ticker. Didn't know you could do that. They changed it from NUSI to QQQH and did a 2-for-1 reverse stock split. I'm still getting monthly dividends from them though, so that's pretty encouraging. They did change the structure of how they're doing those covered call ETFs. And then I did make a wild penny stock bet in the form of MarketWise in week 22. MarketWise has been jumping up in price recently. It's not going to hold. The reason their price jumped is because they're announcing that they're going to be doing a 20-for-1 reverse stock split with a date to be determined. But like that caused, I don't know, like a 20% jump initially. It hit like a high of 85 cents. And when I first chose MarketWise, not Pennywise. When I first chose MarketWise, I knew that like either they were gonna get their share price to over $1, and that would be awesome, or by the February-March timeframe that they would be doing a reverse stock split. So I was right, but unfortunately, it went the worst possible way for me. And I think that's it for like. Smith and Wesson has a case before the Supreme Court because, along with 5 other U.S. gun manufacturers, they're getting sued by the Mexico government. So that's pretty fascinating. Those are all the updates I have.
Alrighty then, back to your 1-year chart on your 4 picks currently. So you have half or down, pretty decent, good spread. Any sort of strategy you're looking at on these specifically?
So again, Honeywell, I saw a price decrease. I didn't look into why that was going to be my quantum stock. It's no longer going to be that. It's still in the Fortune 500. It's ranked like 151 in that, so it's still pretty solid. All of these companies pretty solid. Still follow the formula of being dividend producers, positive PE ratios, positive PS, with like maybe some hidden value in Occidental Petroleum because it's a Congress trade and a super investor trade.
Good deal.
Dividends have still not been properly accounted, so I'm also plus $20 to $30 too, just so you know.
Yeah, we got to look at those dividends, kind of figure out, get that added into the tracker a little bit better, so your overall portfolio looks a little bit better than that 43.78.
Yeah, by like $20 or $30.
I mean, a few bucks is a few bucks. It makes a difference. All right, if that's what you have on your stock picks.
Yeah, that's
right,
what I got.
We have our first self-promotion of the episode.
Oh, okay, awesome. Hi, I am a published indie author is the official term on Amazon. I wrote a children's book. I illustrated a children's book myself, and I found a way to publish it to Amazon. If you guys are interested in seeing my first published work on Amazon, you can find it titled Hi, Sorry, I'm Skylar, which is a great children's book. If you like dad jokes, this book is for you. If you don't like dad jokes, this book is even more for you because it'll teach you to appreciate, the little things that normal people find funny.
Good deal. And I'll just add here that this screenshot was taken today. So if you order it today, which is March 10th, 2025, you will get it Thursday, March 13th, or March 15th, depending on if you do the fast delivery or not.
All right.
Along from that book promotion, we also have some exciting news to announce.
So this will likely be the first book that is published to Amazon. It's a coloring book. I have some coloring book ideas. This one is the pattern focused coloring book in the very travel size. So it's pretty awesome. Lots of great patterns. My kids are a little ADHD, a little rambunctious, and like knowing the right ways to get everyone to come together and to like take deep breaths and to find a calming activity. This is going to be the coloring book.
Good deal, good deal. And it looks like future price coming to Amazon $7.97 for this paperback coloring book for adults and children.
That is going to be the initial pricing.
All right, sounds good. Moving right along. Oh, and that, like you said, that's just the first book being released in 2025 by your authorship there. There's going to be more to come, from what I understand. So we will be on the lookout for that.
All right, awesome.
Moving on to my portfolio. Looks beautiful. Overall portfolio balance of $3,867.40. Throwing that prior episode balance in the top right was a decision I made based on one specific person, and I regret it because it's on my screen too. I've taken a hit. Overall, the stock market has not been great. I think there's a lot of people that have been taking hits. It's been kind of down for a lot of people. I think it's going to come back. I think it's temporary, but yeah, I'm not the only one hurting, and I can't wait to get to the person who is hurting more than me. So yeah, my overall portfolio, $3,867.40, down from $4,558.40. But I'm holding on to that 40 cents. That makes a difference. All right, my 4 picks, week 40, 41, 42, and 43. We have 2 repeat picks in here for 42 and 43. I'm not going to talk too heavily on those. I had to pull open because this was 4 weeks ago, and it feels like it was about 6 months ago that I picked these because this is my busy season, and it's tough to keep up with stuff. So, SailPoint provides solutions to enable various identity security for the enterprise in the Americas, Europe, and Middle East, Africa, and Asia. Holy cow, that's a lot of countries. All right, so identity security. I can't tell you exactly why I jumped on this one. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, it feels like it was 6 months ago that I picked it, but let's see if I can figure it out on the fly here. You'd think I would have done that instead of putting these slideshows together. Let's see, Identity Cloud. Let's see. No, I'm not seeing any specific. Usually there's 1 or 2 things that jump out at me when I'm looking at stock choices to pick. I guess identity security was just one of the things that jumped at me. I don't know. It's a US based company. It's on my list. It's doing all right. We'll just leave it at that. If anyone has any questions, they can judge me later. You can all judge me right now too. That's fine. 41 week 41 pick. Karman Holdings, through its subsidiary Karman Space and Defense, engages in designing, testing, manufacturing, and sale of mission-critical systems for missile and defense space programs, hypersonic, and launch vehicle markets. So this is a defense aerospace company industry type stock pick that I went with. I do think that U.S.-based companies are going to be seeing a boon, and so obviously I try to keep a lot of my picks on U.S. soil. I think the new administration is going to be getting a lot of business to a lot of U.S. entities and probably spreading it out a little bit more than it has been in the past than the handful of big hitters that you would normally see getting contracts from the government. So that's probably my pick on that one. And then, like I said, week 42 and 43, they're just repeat picks. Open Door Technologies is, let's see, digital platforms for real estate. I think real estate's going to be hitting a boom. There's been a couple of predictions that there's going to be a pop in the market, which is going to bring in a lot of investors and a lot of prices are going to go down. So there's going to be some hits that people are taking on their capital gains. But overall, it's going to be a huge boon in the market. Things are going to start taking off. I feel like platforms like this are going to see a rise just because of the fact that more of the platform is going to be needed for those real estate transactions and tenant landlord transactions like that. So, and then nuclear has been in the news lately. I think nuclear is on the frontier, I guess, cutting edge of some of the potential for nuclear in the future. And I think the current administration is very friendly to nuclear and is going to be moving in that direction, I'm hoping, before the end of this podcast. So that's why I did a reinvestment in nuclear. Let's see. These are the 1 year trends for those 4 picks. Does anybody have any questions before I wrap up my portion here?
Did you know that your Carmen Holdings, your missile systems, IPO'd this year on February 13th?
I did, yeah. You notice how on that 1 year tracker, it doesn't go back quite as far as some of the other ones did. The other one, same thing with Sale. It also IPO'd close to the same time. The 1 year tracker only goes back to that date. So that's probably where I was getting those 2 picks. I think I was on the IPO tracker on what was released recently, and I just picked 2 that stood out to me. So good eye, John, because now you helped me find one of my reasons for picking these.
Hey, Nuclear's got a really good PE ratio right now, so just got to see where it goes, eh? Isn't that the one you won big money for a little bit?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed.
Yeah.
I'm excited for nuclear and their small module reactors, their SMRs. But there is a satire company that exists that is, I think, inadvertently, I don't know, bad pressing your SMR industry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There was an energy company in the 90s called Ando or something like that. And they, went under and they took a lot of old people's, pensions and retirements with them. And apparently this 20-year-old kid resurrected it from the dead just as a publicity stunt.
Wow.
And he is making some pretty fire satire content, but it is satire and it's not long-term good press.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to bring up my overall tracker real quick before I do any other comments, questions about my picks here. No? Sweet. All right, here's my overall, which we haven't seen this. We didn't look at overalls last episode, but Holy Red.
Yeah.
That's not great. That's not great. I think I would be a really great case example of someone that should probably not be in charge of their own investments. I have a few good hitters out there, but although honestly, it's just a failing team. It's a losing team. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Focus, Bridger, and quantum computing.
Yeah.
And Plug Power.
The second investment in quantum is the one that's kind of down a bit. The first one is still up by $78. So it was my second round. Then I caught it on the downtrend, and so I lost 50% there.
Wow.
Yeah, the other one is still up a decent amount.
So I can kind of spell out why quantum, the industry, took a hit on 3 different fronts, if anybody cares.
Sure, go for it.
Well, why don't we wait till we get to the next presenter? Because I'm sure she's got it's got whatever, whoever's next has some quantum in there thing that you can judge. I think mine's red enough. My ledger looks bad enough. We don't need a batch quantum. It's not a loser yet. I think it's going to come back. That's my opinion, and we're going to stick with it. All right, going back to the slideshow. All right, after looking at my picks here and getting judged because I have a terrible portfolio and terrible choices, and also speaking of not having a whole lot of time to do things, I learned a valuable lesson that came to me in the last week, and that is, as a small business owner, you really should pre-plan your advertising before you get really busy. I have capacity to do more work, but what I don't have capacity for is the creative genius needed to create ads and put it out there on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I mean, we're doing it on here, but I don't get a crap ton of views on either YouTube or Rumble where this is being published. Something I got to put on my list for next year, because I think Facebook has a nice, useful pre-post thing that you can do, where you can do an ad campaign and just put it on certain dates to go out at a certain time. And I think I really need to utilize that next year, because I have not put a single ad out in weeks. I've been able to respond to people on Facebook. So people that have shared me in different groups have been amazing and fantastic. I am literally running on referrals. And I'm so glad for that, because the fact that my clients trust me enough to share my name and give my name to other people, it's a testament to the work that I do for them. But if I could get my name out there in front of people outside of just referrals, I feel like this business would do even better. Looking back at the numbers, I did a crunch last Friday, which is now a week ago, but it feels like forever ago. I am on track to triple my revenue this year, which I'm so grateful for. And that being in comparison to last year, obviously not much to go off of. It's not huge numbers we're looking at, but it's great growth for a new company, especially jumping into this full time just this last October. I don't regret leaving the firm, but I do regret not thinking through advertising a little bit better. So that's a lesson I learned. And if you have lessons that you've learned in your small business, like not handling your books on your own or trusting a professional to get things done for you, you should give me a call, because I can be that trusted professional in your corner to get your taxes filed accurately and be on your side for the planning and the quarterly taxes and all that stuff. Jacob at farnesstaxrep.com. Visit my website, send me an email, give me a call, and let's see if we can't work together to get you the best outcome.
Just remember, local is best. It really is. When it comes to people who are going to take care of you, he's knowledgeable and he's local. That's really important. Small families that take care of each other.
That kind of depends on where you're currently located watching this, but yeah, I'm in the U.S. It's local. Hopefully you're watching this in the U.S.
Unless you have to drive across Texas.
Yeah. All right, moving right along here, we have David, who I believe is not on the call. He had taken a few days off of work, or he had a few days off of work. He then went back to work, and work was a mess. So I don't think he's able to join us today. But just doing a quick overview of his portfolio here, he is at $4,495.95, which out of the three of us that have so far presented, he's up. 41.55.90 was last year, or was last episode, so 4 weeks ago. He is up almost $400, so he didn't quite lose out as much as some of us have. His four picks are as follows: Subaru, which when I was typing in the stock ticker, I thought I was having a stroke because nothing there says Subaru. PepsiCo, obviously. McDonald's, MCD, Oshkosh. I don't have much to judge on these, except David did say in the past that he's going for the more mainstream companies that have been around for a while and have like just that trusted longevity that some of those older companies go with. Recently, on a personal note, I did watch The Founder on, I think it's on Netflix right now. Crazy story about how McDonald's got started. Crazy story. Dude was kind of a jerk, but also that's what business is sometimes. So Anyway, I don't have much to judge on David, especially since he's not here to defend himself. We do have a chat that one of the other members suggested David put real money into Oshkosh, and he said no, which makes me judge him a little bit on why he would pick it and have it as his week 43 stock pick. But moving along, this is his trend. He looks like he's catching it on the down for the most part, except for McDonald's. McDonald's is up at the moment, so good picks on his part. Does anybody have any words they'd like to throw against David here, even though he's not here to defend himself? Maybe his wife has something to say about him.
I think Dave was shooting for some nice, solid dividend stocks. I'm pretty sure they all have a dividend. The only one I can't confirm is like Subaru. I wasn't able to pull that up quick enough. John is pulling it up right now.
Anybody else have something to say? John, if you're saying something, you're muted right now.
My bad. So the funny thing about Subaru is that like I don't think he chose it for any particular reason other than he identifies as the stereotype who drives Subarus. He is a proud Subaru owner. Yeah, so they do have a dividend yield of approximately 3.36% annualized. So that does follow trends. McDonald's is his historic one. Pepsi is anti-Warren Buffett because Coca-Cola. And what was his other one?
Oshkosh.
Oh yeah,
that?
Oshkosh is a pretty solid company through and through. So I like it. Oshkosh can't be hurt by Doge.
That's probably true. Faith, do you have anything to say about your husband and his picks here? Try to keep it about his picks and nothing extra, please.
Yeah, he's taking a page out of my book and investing in things that we know.
I think most people know of these companies, except maybe some people didn't know about Oshkosh, except if they watched episodes in the other podcast that started this one.
Well, or if you live in Wisconsin, Oshkosh is a pretty prominent company here in Wisconsin too.
I drove.
Actually, there's two major Oshkosh companies named Oshkosh. One's a clothing brand. The other one does the other stuff.
I see. All right. So what's that, Mike?
I think that one has a bagosh in the name.
Oshkosh bagosh, yeah. All right, I think we're done judging his 4-week picks. It'd be unfair if we didn't show his overall portfolio. And holy
Jesus,
cow,
that's a lot of
he's
green.
greener than I am. He's doing decent. He's doing decent, I would argue. Anyone want to argue against that?
That's really sweet.
Rockwell Automation was a company I was referencing before. They do the heavy equipment construction vehicles. And I chose Picard, which owns Kensworth and some other big company or big trucks manufacturing. I got nothing on his portfolio.
I think it looks decent. There's no real big losers in here. A lot of them are $80-$90. Looking pretty good. Most of his picks are up in the green, so that's a good deal. I would trust him over my stuff with my investments portfolio. So as of right now, at least, that could change.
Or Cummins. It was Cummins I was referencing, not Rockwell Automation. Shit.
Well, get your stuff together, dude.
Yeah, I know, my bad.
All done with David here. We're going to move on to our next contestant, which is Faith, with an overall portfolio balance of $5,990.94. Her prior episode balance was $6,165.97. If you look at that, it looks like she's down almost $200, even though we should have an additional $400 invested. So really, that's like down $600, right, guys? How's that feel over there, Faith?
Kind of hurts.
That's that. I just want to make it clear, you are the reason that I put the prior episode balance in this. because I wanted everyone to know. I wanted everyone to know. Even the inside traders lose once in a while, and I just wanted to make sure we marked it. So, your 4 picks, here they are. Go ahead and tell us all about them.
I love that 2 of my picks are next to each. That's all I gotta say on that.
Real quick, I do have to say, the words that you put in the tracker that I used, it was yum with no words after that, and the next one was BJ and nothing after that. So I had to go and look up the stocks to find out what their actual names were. It's Yum Brand and BJ Wholesale Club. All right. Now, ladies, if you're looking for a wholesale club for you, BJ Wholesale Club is just for you. I don't want to sell it too hard here, but Faith, go ahead. I just thought it was hilarious that it was Yum BJ, and that's how you left it.
Yeah. So I found Yum. So as you can see, all these brands except for BJ's is one that most people would semi-recognize. So I started going back on that track and was looking up fast food places and doing research, and that's how I came across Yum. Because like they deal with like KFC, Taco Bell, Domino's, Pizza Hut, a whole bunch of places. So I looked up their 1-year tracker, liked it, picked it. That was about it. Then for week 4, I was looking into Sam's Club and Costco, and then I decided to Google other like bulk stores and found BJ's. Liked their stock, 1-year stock, so I picked that one mostly because I liked that, but I also liked Yum and BJ's next to each other. And then I was really mad at my phone one day, and so I was looking up like phone companies, but half of you have already bought into other ones, and I didn't want to do a rebuy of someone else's. And so I found Nokia, liked it, picked it. And then Duolingo is one I've been watching since they killed the bird. And then they brought the bird back, and I'm hoping that their stock bounces back now that the bird is back.
Not gonna lie, I have no idea what you're talking about with this bird. But I do think that David is a very lucky man for the Yum BJ being next to each other.
Okay, so Duolingo may be the greatest marketers of our time, and they are wasting all of their talent on learning a second new language app that doesn't even scientifically work. It's so funny. Again, maybe the greatest marketers of our time.
It's pretty great. I love that they like call people out all the time. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. There's a lot to be learned from a brand like that.
I want to put it out there that if Dr. Waffle had a stock, I would buy into his stock.
Oh,
Not yet.
Hey, Faith.
Yep.
You know, the PE ratio for that Duolingo is like 147. That's really high.
Yeah, I don't watch that stuff, so I'm talking gibberish.
Reverse stock split.
Just to remind the audience that this podcast was for us to learn about stocks, but these ratios don't matter. It's gibberish. That's what Faith has learned. Just so we're clear. Moving on.
That's what the person in first place, consistent first place throughout the podcast competition, has learned.
Right. All right. Here is her overall portfolio. I do want to point out the fact that this is actually less green than David. But where it matters, the green ones are making a difference. So, Faith, go ahead. Give us a review of your whole portfolio here.
I don't feel like it. You can see it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. John, any criticisms here?
I do have a
Any-
question. John put a special prediction that I would have the most in red. Do I?
Jacob's making that really fucking hard.
That is a slide coming in at the end. We have that tracker going for sure. I kept up with it.
Okay, cool.
Palantir is sliding. That's a big note. Supermicro computer is never gonna recover. CrowdStrike has impressively made a bounce back. You did get in good timing on that. I'll give you credit there.
I still like my Diginex. That one can stay doing well.
Kinda said about Archer Aviation. Jesus.
I feel like your Diginex is saving you right now. Can you imagine?
Palantir.
Brigetti, where's Diginex? Oh yeah. we still don't know what they do, huh?
Crystal clear. Faith's portfolio would currently be at $4,692 rather than its $5,990 if
Still beating me.
Diginex didn't exist in her portfolio.
I would still be in
Wow.
first. That's
At
what
40, I
matters.
don't know. We'll see.
What'd you say?
I said at $4,600. We'll see. I don't know. We'll just keep that number in our back pocket for now.
Hold up, what?
Anything else here for Faith's
Wait,
portfolio?
go back to her portfolio for a second if you don't mind. Was I zoomed in? God damn it, where'd it go?
What are
Which
you
one?
looking
Oh,
at?
I don't know how to navigate your.
are you
Okay,
looking
never
for?
mind. Never mind. I didn't understand for a second. My own table,
The
my own
Diginex?
columns. Yeah, I was
Oh.
looking at Diginex pretty hard. It's like the share price is not $1,200. It's at $50.
Yes, it's currently at $54.
All right.
All right. Anything else for Faith here?
No.
Great. I'm just setting up for more work here. Hang on a second. All right. And moving along, we have Michael with a overall portfolio balance of $4,265.34, as
that,
compared
third
to his
place?
prior episode balance of $4,276.09. He saw a small drop, but invested an additional $400. So looks like he also lost $400 this week in the stock market. Michael, go ahead, take it away.
Man, a rough week. I found again. I'm just following low to medium beta with some low below 30s for sure. PE ratio, and I found a bunch of companies. I came across American Resources Corp. What they do is they let's see, the production of rare earth and critical mineral concentrates, electrification market, and recycled metals. It extracts and processes metallurgic carbon and iron ore for steel making, aggregates, and processes waste metal. I figured with the direction we're going, we're gonna need it. I don't have their current PE ratio, but I like them there. I think their financials were off a little though. They're a strong buy in the market. With a bunch of people saying that they could go as high as like $5. As low as 4. It's not bad for sitting where it's sitting. Let's see. And then Detail Precision Biosciences. They had a good P ratio of 3.51. A good, nice, strong buy from a lot of the analyst ratings. They're looking at anywhere from 19 to 60, and if you look at them, they're what 510. I have met. And what they do is they do an advanced gene editing company. They do gene editing therapies. including gene elimination, insertion, and excision. So, well, it's. They also do a lot of stuff for like sickle cell and working those genes out. They also do a bunch of stuff with the liver and central nervous system. It's pretty interesting. And then Amplify Energy Corp. Let's see, their PE ratio is 12.77. Not a bad price. Analysts are saying they'll go to $9 or $11. Pretty strong buy. And then what they do is what did they do? They have subsidiaries in the acquisition, development, exploration, and production of oil and natural gas in the United States. You'll never guess where they go. Nobody?
Vermont.
Permian Basin.
No, actually, not the Permian Basin. Southern California, East Texas, North Louisiana. The Rockies.
You just trying to be funny?
No, seriously, they don't do the Permian Basin.
Well, why
They
did you
do
not-
the Appalachian Basin. Good for you.
I just had to bring it up that hey, I chose one that was not the Permian Basin, and then oddball out, Walmart. Welcome to Walmart. Their PE ratio is a little bit on the high side with
You're pretty
36.
good at that.
Everybody knows, huh?
You're pretty good at that. Is that your second job?
It's my third job.
Gotcha.
Huh? Nothing? Oh, she muted herself. It's a fairly strong buy with the analyst. Even though the price is 87.82, it could drop as low as 70, but they're looking at like 101 to 120, and everybody knows what Walmart does, right? They have it all. It's one-stop shopping.
Walmart has some competitive advantages over Target, like a subscription model to their business. Their number
Yeah.
one competitor is Amazon in retail. Nothing else comes close.
Wow.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. So that's where I'm sitting.
Well, really, where you're sitting is right
Third
here.
place. Yeah. That's a lot of red. That is a lot of red.
That is a decent amount of red. You're right.
You know what? Like I said, I'm not saying I'm going to be first place. I'm in maybe third place, but I'm not in a bad position. We just got to see the way the energy sector goes here. I mean, look at a lot of my energy is red. It's not like horrifically red, but it's red nonetheless. They're all on the cusp, in the 80s. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, and maybe in a month or two, pull it out. Thoughts?
I mean, I think we're all pulling out in about a month or two, right?
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm doubling down. I'm seeing which of my stocks are on fire sale right now. This is a time to accumulate. Everybody's afraid. Warren Buffett says now's the time to buy.
Still
The dude's
disappointed
near
that Lamb
death.
Weston is down.
If I had extra money to invest, I probably would be investing right now as well.
You guys see my him stock week 12?
If you would like to see me have extra money to invest, you can always purchase my books off of Amazon. If you would like to see Jacob have extra money to invest, you can always let him do your tax returns.
I just have Cash App. I like to gamble.
Faith,
Seriously,
do
though.
we have an upcoming business from you in the near future that we can start promoting, or is that not in the works?
Mm,
For me,
We'll
No, for
we'll
Faith.
know after podcast.
Oh, after the podcast is done, or after this episode is done recording?
After the podcast is done.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, if we can get any glimpse on that, let's try to throw in something on the grand finale, which is in 2 episodes, or what, 6 weeks from now or so. Not sure if anybody else has actually noticed, but according to this, we're at week 43 of a 52-week competition. That means there's only 9 picks left before the end here. So,
man.
yeah, we are almost done, guys. We are almost done. We have filled out these Excel spreadsheets. We have learned so many things, and I can't wait to get to the finale to see if Jon is really the person who should be walking on those hot coals, or if there's going to be somebody that has to join him.
Come on, oil and gas.
All right, moving along. We are going to go into the standings. All right. So I figured I'd keep the theme going with the prior episode amount listed at the top right there. Last week, we had Faith in first place, myself in second, Michael in third, David in fourth, and Mr. Jon himself in last place. Just to remind the audience, this is week 43. So the baseline dollar amount of money that we should have contributed is $4,300 because it's $100 for each week. With that being said, I am going to reveal the bottom to the top, going to what our standings are this week. Here we go. Hopefully this animation looks decent. So as you can see, Faith is still in first place, but she did take that substantial hit, and she's still within range. So, especially if that $1,200 to Diginex or whatever disappears, she's only $200 away from second place. I think we can still catch her. There's a chance, guys. Big dramatic drops and increases. I went from second place to last place in the last 4 weeks. Jon went from last place to third place, and Michael's been hovering around fourth and third and fifth for the whole competition anyway. So, congrats to David for going to fourth to second, and we're going to ignore Faith from now on because she's still holding first and nobody likes her because of her insider trading. Moving on. I do want to say real quick, there's only 3 of us currently that are above water. So with a baseline of 4,300, only the top 3 places are actually above that baseline right now. Michael and myself are below the baseline, and we are doing terribly.
I'm close enough to write it off in taxes.
Nah, it's an unrealized gain. That's not what you can write off in taxes. Nice try. Anyway, moving on. We have the 4-week performance. Now is the time that we punish those weaker brain cells with a shot of alcohol. All right. I hope you guys like that cute little animation I made. Those weaker brain cells are to be punished, and that's why the shot is there with the weak brain sitting in there. You like that, Jon?
That's
Come
pretty
on.
funny.
I fucking love that. I need that on a t-shirt.
All right, we're going to be selling T-shirts from this podcast if we get 10 views. All right, just putting it out there.
I'm on it, guys.
For companies that I know that can push those out pretty quick. So, all right, we are going to reveal the top and bottom performers for this week. So, starting at the top, we have Faith with a positive $33. Jon's positive $14. David is positive $11. I am negative by $9, and Michael is negative by $44. Michael, you are the big loser this week. It is time to punish those weaker brain cells.
So, guys, I have here 3 ounces of the finest vodka. Can everyone see this?
Is that just cold medicine? I can't see it.
7X? I can't do that though.
Could you just tell us what it is? Your camera sucks, dude.
Platinum 7-time distilled extra smooth vodka.
What's the name of the brand? Platinum?
I guess so.
I mean, platinum's okay.
You're doing the
Those
whole
weaker
thing.
brain
Okay.
cells.
So make noise, otherwise the camera's not on you anymore. Went away for a second.
Wait, what?
There we go.
I gotta redo it?
Yeah, one more
No, I
time.
saw it.
You know.
Okay.
But I do want to reference that a little bit. So last week when I was rewatching our episode, I had talked about the people on the call being clients of mine, and then retroactively asked permission to talk about them, and they all gave me the nod to say yes. The only problem with that is this new recording software we're using only highlights the person talking and doesn't show the faces of anyone who's not talking. So I just wanted to make sure I addressed this discrepancy, that nobody else saw you guys nod when I asked for permission. So I just wanted to make sure, Michael, John, Faith,
Yes, you have my permission.
great, John,
I give my verbal consent.
great. Hey,
I give consent on behalf of me and David.
that's what I like to hear. Not that it saves me from last week. It's been 4 weeks since the consent disclosure. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there. I witnessed Michael take his shot. His weaker brain cells have been punished, and let's see how we do next time. Moving on to our special predictions, John had said that Faith will have more individual picks in the red than anyone else. Currently, Jacob has the most picks in the red at 28, followed by Michael with 23. Faith has 20, John has 17, and David is doing the best with only 13 picks in the red.
That's backwards.
Well, you know. And then my own special prediction against David. He's not on this podcast call at the moment, but I do want to make sure that everyone knows that I predicted Eli Lilly would be his worst performing stock in his portfolio. Last week, it was his 16th worst performing stock, and this week, it is his 12th worst performing stock. 11 more spaces, and I win on that prediction there. John, you have a ways to go to get Faith there because I am holding the lead on worst performers. So that is that.
That's not the one you want to be winning on, my guy.
With that being said, that is all I have for our episode today. If anybody has anything they'd like to address, talk about, get off their chest, now's the time.
Quantum took a hit when the CEO of NVIDIA said we were decades away from real use. And then both Google and Microsoft said, hold my beer. Google first released a new quantum computing paper and chip. And then Microsoft released something that was only theoretical in the 90s. Or actually, it was theoretical before that, but it like could not be done. Something called topographical quantum computing. And the funny thing is, Microsoft did not release a science paper, and they haven't had any second outside of their alleged chip that they can do this. So that's Microsoft isn't known for being exaggerators, like Tesla on their timelines or anything, but like those took hits to the quantum computing that Google and Gemini could make these breakthroughs, and then recession, so those are the hits to the quantum computing. NVIDIA, the CEO of NVIDIA, single-handedly caused like a 10% drop in a day for some of those quantum stocks.
Yeah, I still think quantum is right around the corner. That's my own opinion, and I think it's going to boom in the next. I really hope before the podcast ends, but soon, if not by then.
Well, I mean, if Microsoft has topographical quantum computing, that's pretty spectacular. So.
Hey, how about that XRP? It's at $2 right now.
That's a
Oh, that's not a
cryptocurrency.
That's
Yeah,
not a stock, sir.
That's a cryptocurrency.
I'm not underneath contract right now. Talk about what I want.
Speaking of, if there's any companies out there that would like to sponsor any one of us, we would be glad to talk about you instead of ourselves for a little while. It'd be wonderful.
I think they're gonna
Yeah.
go with me.
Yeah. There's what do they say? There's believers and there's missionaries. I won't just be a believer. I will be a missionary for whatever you sponsor me to spread the word. I will convert. Okay. I will convert
He'll
others.
spread the word like he spreads those legs.
Like I spread the what lines?
Your legs.
I'm not sure how to I think we should stop recording now. Anyway, it was great to see everyone this week. We will do this again in 4 weeks when the next 4 picks are done, and then we will have one more episode after that to do our 52-week wrap-up, which I'm super excited because I really want to announce my 52-week pick. If you don't have any clue what I'm talking about, you should definitely go back and watch the episodes of Investment Competition Podcast, Trial by Fire, hosted by Jon Farness over on his YouTube channel, because there's an Easter egg in there that will tell you what my week 52 pick is going to be, and I cannot wait for it to come to reality. So, with that being said, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed and learned something or both. This is not investment advice. If you're an alcoholic, please get help and have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Thank you for doing this, Jacob.
Thanks, Jake. And Faith.
Oh, and thanks for that tax return.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
All right, stop the recording now.